We have fog and kindness. Number 2, we have ancestors and rainbow. And number 3, we have ocean and lightning. So just take a deep breath and go with whichever one or whichever groups. You can have more than one, call to you. And then have a look in the description box below the video, and you can find the timestamp so you can go directly to the readings that you're interested in instead of having to kind of fast forward through everything. Let me know if they resonate. So look and see, what does fog mean to you and me? Fog. So fog is simply a low cloud, a blanket of water crystals that hasn't gained the density of raindrops. The thicker it is, the more it shrouds us in damp and billowy arms. It can be so thick that it makes it nearly impossible to see directly in front of you. During these times, silence makes its own sound as we pause and allow ourselves to be enveloped in this shroud of impenetrable density. We may even feel as if we can do nothing but be still and await what is going to be revealed. Yet even within the thickest fog, we can be assured that it will eventually burn off as the sun's rays infiltrate the veil. Once they do so, we can anticipate how the light and the warmth will bring us welcome relief from the cold. As the sun continues to disperse the fog, our surroundings become illuminated and we have the opportunity to continue forward. So from that alone, I'm kind of getting a bit of a pause energy as well, because if you're trying to go somewhere and it's foggy, you're not going to be able to get anywhere, so you have to kind of stop and wait for it to burn off. You might be kind of just in that moment where you're integrating, or you, like me, you're sick, you probably should be, I should be resting, but I'm not because I'm a maniac. And I just really felt like I needed to do some readings today. Sometimes the the need to deliver messages overrides the need to rest, and I'll rest for the rest of the day probably. But yeah, so maybe a rest, maybe just a pause on your journey. As I said, I feel like the things that you can't see or that are being hidden from you at the moment, this might be from like a spiritual kind of point of view, like your guides aren't giving you messages or giving you a clear direction, or you're not getting that from your intuition about which way to go or what to do. Or it might be a bit more literal, like you're not quite sure what, you're confused about like what you should do in your life. So yeah, let's just keep reading. You are enmeshed in confusion and uncertainty and unaware or unsure if it will ever clear up. This is not the best time to make decisions, particularly any major ones. Know that this foggy veil will eventually dissolve. Although there may be ways you are unconsciously contributing to this state, the greater truth is that this is simply a cycle, and you are simply a cycle you are moving through. And like all things, this too shall pass. Allow yourself to feel confused. In fact, decide to be confused, no matter what attempts you might make right now to make things happen or move in any specific direction out of impatience or frustration. You only risk creating more confusion and uncertainty. So be still. So be still. So be still and patient. Here come the channeling burps. I haven't even had a drink. Oh dear. That's energy moving through my body. That's just what it does when I start, reading and stuff. It's often kind of tells me that a big channeled message is coming through or will be coming through soon. So anyway, so where are we? You will No matter what attempts you make right now to make things happen or move in a specific direction out of impatience or frustration, you risk only creating more confusion and uncertainty. So be still and patient. Wait for that first glimmer of awareness to lift the veil so that you can see the choices before you more clearly and can then choose to align yourself with the spirit, or with the will of spirit, sorry, with the spirit, with the will of spirit. Yeah. So basically, sorry, I'm just seeing notifications come up on my phone. I thought I'd better check and see if there's anything important. But it's not. So we shall continue the reading. I can see someone's feet back there. Some little feet. Hopefully there's no gas going to come out today. If you see some of my other readings, I've had to edit or try to edit out the things that the boys do very loudly. Pretty hilarious, but yeah. Where's my hair getting in the way? Sorry. Alrighty, so let's get another message. Group 1. This veiled imaging. So yeah, they're saying, as I said, it's a bit of a time to pause, not a time to kind of force things, trying to get things to happen or find a direction or something like that. It's just not the right time for that. So I would suggest going into sort of winter hibernation type energy and just chilling, just do the day to day, and let things come to you. So feeling safe has come up for you as well. So this kind of gives me this message that, you feeling or finding safety within your own kind of energy, within your own thoughts, is going to help bring that first ray of light or that intuition, or to lift the fog a little bit. Sometimes when you are anxious, well, not sometimes, probably all the time when you're anxious, your intuition is not, like, you can't sort of have both. You can't be anxious and intuitive at the same time. Well, not usually anyway, because it's either your anxiety or your ego speaking, trying to make you do something to keep you safe, which usually isn't really going to keep you safe at all. It's just going to keep you repressed or stop you from, kind of progressing in your life. Or you can follow your intuition, or your intuition speaks to you. See, it's sort of like you can't have them both at the same time. So the idea here, the message coming through, is for you to really work on finding emotional safety, even physical safety, checking, making sure your house is safe, in whatever way you might have, worries about electricity or something like that. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of getting. It's like checking the outlets, or making sure that, that gas isn't leaking or something like that, perhaps. I don't know. That's sort of something that's coming through. It's probably just a message for some of you, not all of you. What else do they want me to know? I mean, you to know. What else do they want me to tell you? That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, what I feel for you as well, I am getting emotional safety, because it says feeling safe, right? So whatever it takes for you to feel safe, it could be learning to release those thoughts, those anxious thoughts, or learning to sort of stop those thoughts from coming through and taking over, because you can always just sit back and observe them. And I know that's a very difficult thing to do, but if you can manage to stop before you start believing a thought, especially if it comes through to you as something anxious, you will know by the way it feels, whether it's anxious or not, because you'll always be like, that kind of feeling that comes through with a thought that's anxiety, or that is your ego speaking, trying to stop you from, trying to stop you from doing a certain thing because it's out of the ego's comfort zone, things like that. Anyway, so basically, if you can observe those thoughts and say, okay, that's an interesting thought, but maybe it's not true. What if it wasn't true? I mean, I'm not asking you to go and put yourself in danger or anything like that. I'm talking about things like, mundane things that might make you anxious or whatever. There's a way of dealing with thoughts that might not be true, that can help you step out of being anxious and start feeling safe again. Yeah, so let's just see. I feel like I need another card from this deck. You think about it, like fog can be kind of scary, but it can also be kind of comforting in a way because it's sort of like, well, what else can I do? I've got to sit here and be still, um, and let this clear. And there's this kind of magical feeling, like I don't know if you've ever been in a forest or somewhere like that, and it's foggy, and it's like, wow, this is really magical. It's kind of otherworldly in a way. So maybe you're in a bit of an otherworldly type energy right now. Sometimes that can make you feel a little bit, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Why is my brain being like this? Um, but I'm just going to put these ones back in because I'm not sure what exactly was going on there. So yeah. Anyway, I think the message here is about feeling safe, however you or whatever you need to do to feel safe in the situation that you're in. Okay, and kindness is coming through as well. I wish it would focus. There we go. So yeah, with the kindness card, the message I feel like obviously is kindness, being kind about things, but kind to yourself. And I'm kind of getting a very earthy feeling here. So it I feel like it might be talking about environmental things like, um, well, okay, this is a very specific message for some of you, that using like cleaning products and stuff that are made of natural ingredients instead of the shit that you have on the supermarket shelves, things that are kind to the environment, right? Because if you're using those things, I feel like you might be having some kind of reaction and not realizing that that might be what's causing brain fog and other issues and sensitivities that you might be experiencing. So using um more natural ways to clean, and that includes, body care and things like that. Honestly, I spent quite some time, and I still do. I only ever used to use coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, bicarb soda, and like a lemon or something to do my cleaning with. Um, and also for body care as well, because there's not much else that you really need. All of those things with all the chemicals and the antibacterial stuff that we've been kind of told we need to use it all the time to kill all the germs. What we're actually doing is creating this situation where there's like superbugs that grow so that they can overcome the antibacterial stuff. And it's also messing up the ecosystem. So whenever you're washing things like bleach and stuff like that down the drain, and obviously there's times when you need to use that stuff, but I feel like the message is to use it sparingly, to not like to think about how the impact that it's going to have not only on your physical health, but also on the world's health as well, on the planet's health, on the ecosystems and the biology and all of that sort of stuff. I'm not really coming up with the right words, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. um yeah, so yeah, I feel like, yeah, so maybe for all of you really it was a very strong message, and it was very like bang. Something you might be using in, like in your on your face, or washing your hair with, or cleaning your shower, or cleaning your kitchen or whatever with. It might be like a really harsh chemical that's giving you some kind of um issues, and a lot of the time that is things like brain fog and stuff, because it's sort of like a reaction to the chemical, to the harsh fumes and that sort of stuff that's coming through. um anyway, I'm going to move on from that message now. So also kindness, about like if you are feeling safe, you're able to be kind. I feel like when you don't feel safe, obviously you're going to be a bit like that, to protect yourself. So feeling safe is going to bring in this energy of kindness. And kindness is, um, I don't know, my brain's not like doing the good thing today so much. I've got a bit of a sore throat and a stuffy nose and stuff. So um, I'm even less able to connect into the right words than I usually am. Um, Sometimes I can be very succinct, but sometimes not so much. The kindness. I'm just going to have a quick look and see if there's anything in there that kind of pops up for you guys. Practice kindness in all your thoughts and deeds today towards yourself and other people, animals, and the environment. Holy moly. Yeah, okay, so I really picked up on that one, didn't I? And watch the rewards come your way. We often refer to kindness as thoughtfulness, yet kindness is more correctly described as lovefulness. By drawing this card, the fairies have hand you the wonderful assignment of looking for opportunities to be kind today. This may mean undercover kindness in which you do anonymous good deeds, or it could mean being extra alert for strangers who could use a helpful hand or a thoughtful word. Kindness can also entail letting someone else win the argument or volunteering for a cause you truly believe in. By paying attention to the implications of every thought and action, you begin to develop a kindness habit. Your new kindness attracts new loving friends into your sphere. As you practice kindness towards animals, plants, and the environment, you develop a closer relationship with nature. Most important, when you are particularly kind towards yourself, by thinking about yourself compassionately and by taking time out for yourself, you are there's something stuck on the page. Thankfully, it's not where one of my kids has gone and written something like on some of my cards. My youngest wrote, is it poo on one of these cards? I think it was on this deck. They'll be shuffling through and I see this card and oh, I didn't know there was a poo card in this deck. Anyway, so yeah, you are rewarded with a deep sense of inner satisfaction if you're kind to yourself. There's an affirmation here you can use as well. I am kind, thoughtful, and loving to myself and others. All right, so kind of reading through that and then looking back at feeling safe and veiled, it could be that you were being in this sort of veiled energy, this fogged energy, where you are being asked to pause, to find this energy of kindness, to find these emotions, or should I say, find that place within yourself that you can sit and feel safe and be kind to yourself, compassionate to yourself. I feel like by doing that and, making sure that you're feeling safe as well, it's going to help you kind of lift the fog and see more clearly and clear any confusion that you might be having. Do I want another card for you guys? I might just get some tarot. Okay. My intuition says no tarot yet. One more card, one more message. Message from the fairy cards or somewhere else. I'm not sure what we're doing here. I think we'll get an angel card. That's what we'll do. We'll get one angel card. Way up. I thought I saw one thing I did. No, I didn't. That's confusing. That's the back of the cards, but it's the front of one of the cards, and it looked like it was up the wrong way. So can I get a message for group one, please? Well, the great message, another message for group one message, anything that spirit team would like them to know. That my hair's getting so long, it's getting caught as I'm shuffling the cards. That's what I'm doing. I'm flipping my hair out the way. Okay, wow, they jumped up real quick, didn't they? So, okay, that's a nice clear message. Look, it's just reiterating the fog energy. So, yes, unlikely. So I might have to clarify those because those are just, well, there's obviously something that you're wondering about, that you're asking about, or you want an answer to a question. The answer is yes, but then we have unlikely as well. So there might be a different question. I'm going to get the tarot out now. and have a look to see what else you've got, what messages, how we can clarify this. What is the yes about? Can we get a clear message about what yes is about? All right, King of Pentacles, Eight of Cups in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse. All right, I think we might just, that's a few too many to clarify. I don't want to do a long reading. As I said, my nose is a bit runny and my throat's a bit sore, so I don't want to be on here for too long. But the King of Pentacles, okay, so this is, I think this is sort of saying, yes, you are kind of coming around in the physical world. Like Pentacles, it can represent money and finances and stuff like that, but it also just represents things in the physical world. So you might be feeling, as I said, unsure, confused, not really knowing what's going on. You may have a specific question or a specific scenario that you're thinking about and wanting to know the answer. Like, am I going in the right direction? Is this particular thing, whether it be finances or work or career or something else that's in the physical world, like, I don't know, it could be, getting a home or something like that. Or will I have enough money? Will this kind of pan out for me type thing? Then the answer is yes. The King of Pentacles is an energy of somebody who has enough, somebody who's mastered the sort of, living in the 3D worlds and having enough resources to kind of not have to worry, to sit. If you have a look, he looks pretty content there. Like, so being content with whatever. So if you're asking about something like that, then the answer is yes. But then let's see, what does unlikely have to say? How can we clarify unlikely for group one? Wow. And usually I'm like, oh, I feel a bit tired when I'm doing a reading, but this is, I'm going to have to rest in between the readings, I think. So we have unlikely, we have judgment and Five of Cups. So the energy of Five of Cups is like one of leaving, walking away. Cups is often about emotional stuff. So it could be talking about love, a relationship, a family issue, something to do with friendship. So I feel like some of you are worrying, or maybe worrying about someone or a particular situation that's very emotional to you, kind of leaving, if that makes sense. So if it's a relationship or something, you're wondering if it's going to end, or perhaps you're getting that feeling like they're trying to leave or something like that. It's one of those things. And that might be why, you're in the fog. You're kind of like, you're not really sure. Maybe you're wondering if you should leave, or if that energy has the passion gone out of it, is probably a better way to put it. So, and then we have the Judgment as well. And judgment is about sort of letting go and trusting in the universe. And okay, so it's like letting go of the past, right? So letting go of something from your past is going to negate this Five of Cups energy that you might be feeling into. Five of Cups can feel like loss. It can feel like heartbreak or just emptiness, like not having enough of something, or, as I said, wondering about a specific situation, and is it ending, or should I leave, or has the passion left, or something along those lines. It's an emotional thing. So something emotional doesn't have to be relationships. It could be, as I said, it could be family things. It could be just something that you feel passionate about. Like maybe you were really into, I don't know, painting or something for a while. Now you're like, whatever, should I stop? Or you're questioning it. You're questioning, like, is it worth my time because no one else likes my art, or things like that, something like that. That's just a scenario. I feel like there's something from your past it could be clouding your judgment. It could be contributing to the veiled energy, the foggy energy, like you're not able to see it clearly. But the card that we're trying to clarify here is unlikely. So it's unlikely that this scenario is going to happen. It's it's maybe bringing something up from the past, or maybe it's a situation. I feel it's probably more like a situation where there's something you need to let go of from the past so that you can see clearly into this, into the future with whatever scenario sits in your particular life or works in your particular life. And as I say, like nothing's set in stone, right? These readings are based on current trajectories and are always subject to free will. So we'll chuck those back in if they're meant to, they'll come out. Yeah, so it's unlikely that this Five of Cups energy is coming towards you, but it's also got to do with, things or decisions, actions, things that you did in the past, made in the past, have in the past, and choosing to let go of maybe some things that are clouding your judgment, clouding your vision of, moving forward or something like that. So let's just get some more. With the Ten of Swords. So this is walking away, leaving a painful situation behind. It doesn't necessarily always mean that you have to end something. It might mean that you choose to see things in a different light. You might see, by letting go of whatever it was that's from the past, by trusting in the universe, it allows you to let go of that, that energy of something painful ending, or a particular way of like looking at things or feeling about things. We were talking about anxiety before, so it might be something like that. You might finally work out that it's not worth trying to control everything with your mind, because you don't have any control of things anyway. So you might finally just stop overthinking things and trying to, do that. You might work out how to do that. It takes a bit, but anyway, whatever it is, you're moving away with the Judgment card and the Ten of Swords. You're moving away from something that was painful in the past, some past pain type thing. So we have the Two of Pentacles for you guys as well. This is about finding balance. So yeah, that is just really sort of reiterating what I'm saying here. I feel like it's talking about finding a balance. Could be a financial thing. It could just be finding balance to fit everything in your life, or finding that emotional balance or that way to stay balanced, and kind of keep things going, I guess. Let's see what else we've got here. A couple more messages for group one, please. Not wobbling that with my knee. Okay. Right. Let's have a look. What have we here? We have, so finding balance and finding stability. I feel like this is kind of like when you find that balance, when you've worked out what it is, when you've let go of the past, perhaps, and moved away from like the pain. I'm just getting that this is something that you think about a lot. I'm getting that it's like, it's not something that actually still exists in your life, or it's not something that's current, right? It's something that just plagues you from previous experiences, from a previous experience or something like that. But it's always in your mind. It's something that you continuously think about, or it's sort of like a baseline. How can I put this? So in the subconscious mind, which is the part that we don't really know what's going on in there, but that's where most of what we do, what we know, what we understand about the world is actually stored, right? So what is it like? It's like 2% of what we think about is actually conscious, so that we are aware of it. So you might have created, it's like a record, right? You might have created a program, like a computer program or something like that, that just plays and plays and plays in your mind. Um, and it creates, or it doesn't necessarily create more problems, but it's just something that you haven't let go of yet. Um, and it was a painful situation. So it's something that you sort of like, maybe you're in the habit of going back to thinking about that instead of like changing your thoughts into something positive and trying to interrupt that pattern of continuously finding things to be anxious about, or thinking about this particular situation or this person that left you, or a broken relationship, or a fight you had with your mom, or something like that. So you know what, I'm hopefully that sort of hits home, and you know what I mean. Um, I feel like you're going to find the key, the balance, whatever it is, and that's going to bring in this energy of like um the Four of Wands. So fours are always about stability, but wands is creative, it's passionate. It looks like, they're having a good time. Maybe they're, going out and having fun with your friends or something like that. Maybe you've been isolating a little bit, or something where you're trying to work through this, or perhaps it just makes you step back um from social stuff, because you find that you always just kind of get triggered, or you feel anxious or something like that. It doesn't have to be anxiety. This is just one of the things that I'm picking up on here. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles, but it's in reverse. So I feel like it's almost saying, it's like this is the work that you have put in already. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm just getting, it's like you've been working on this for a while to try and find this balance. It's something that you have kind of really put a lot of work into at some point. Um, but it didn't sort of seem to bear fruit, and you've just gone back to this way of thinking, or whatever it is, this situation that has been plaguing you. But I feel like it's actually on its way out now. Yeah, because being in reverse, it doesn't always mean that the energy of the putting in the work, or whatever card it is, isn't there. It just means it's like, it could be, like the shadow side, I guess, of it, putting in too much work or overthinking. So this is like the end of overthinking for you, I feel. Let's have one more card, group one. One more card for group one, please. Oof. We have two cards and they were both in reverse. So, that's interesting. We have the King of Swords in reverse. And then we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Six of Pentacles is reciprocity. So perhaps, in this situation where you're too focused on whatever issues you've been trying to let go of but haven't really let go of, that whatever it is that is, creating the fog around you, that's stopping you from sort of, I feel like it might stop you from fully participating in life. That's the reciprocity, right? So it's sort of like it's held you back from being able to give and receive in equal measure. It's like you haven't had the energy to give to other people, so you never really received it, or to give to situations, and you never really received anything back. And that is changing for you now, because we have, yes, and the King of Pentacles here. It's just a matter of finding a way to make yourself feel safe, to remind your ego, or the inner child that is, creating this issue, that's saying, no, you're not safe. No, you don't, you can't do that, because that will create this same situation again. For some of you, this could be, like starting a new relationship, starting a new job, moving a house, because something happened in the past that it's created this thing within you, this idea that this will always happen. But I feel like you're working through that, and you are actually going to come to the point where you are actually going to where it is that you want to go. and leaving this kind of energy behind where you're not giving and taking so much. And the King of Swords, which he can be very detached, be very like, I don't know, they're saying get the book out and read it, so I'm just gonna look at the book just for the shadow side of the King of Swords. So this is an energy that you might have, or it might be an energy that you fear coming in from somewhere else. So the King of Swords, where are we? King of Swords. I don't know why they're getting me to read out of the book, but I don't argue. I just do what I'm told. Sometimes in readings. In real life, I probably argue way too much and don't ever do what I'm told, but you know, we don't we don't need to know about that right now. Okay, so yeah, all right. So it's the end of this energy that's coming through at you or to you, or even from, you know, from your ideas that are in that subconscious loop that I feel like you're stuck in. Manipulation, conceit, showing off your intelligence can indicate rigidness and thinking, tendencies to over control, irrationality, and being cold and calculating. So this could be an energy that you display or have displayed in the past, and that, you know what, like, it sounds bad, all of those things, right? But when you are just managing to survive because you're totally triggered and you're totally anxious, that sometimes that's just the only way that you know how to kind of protect yourself. I feel like with this, you know, with these energies coming in, or these cards in the reading sort of coming in saying, yeah, this is the path, this is things you feel like you've missed out on things, because you've had to hold everything back in a way to keep yourself safe, but you're finding this new way. So yeah, I feel like you'll be finding stability, and I feel like you'll be getting some clarity by the end of this next 7 days, or, you know, whenever you see this. You know, we're all on different sort of timelines and things like that, so it could take longer, it might not, you know, it might take a day or so, but this is definitely the energy that's coming through for you right now, is that while you might feel confused and not really know how to move forward, what's going on in the, you know, in the ethers or in the background, or the work that you've put in that nobody really knows about, is all working to change this and bring in this stability and bring in this King of Pentacles energy, and allow you to be more grounded so that you can exhibit this kindness and make this like this safe feeling cocoon for yourself, so you can develop these energies more. All right, group 1, thanks for watching your reading. Hopefully you enjoyed that, it resonated, or it will resonate in the future sometime. Yeah, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Reading, I will leave a link in the description box underneath this video, so that you can have a look and see if a reading or a healing with me would be appropriate for you, or you can always message me as well to find out about that. So sorry, I'm just going to change my music in case you don't know as well. I channel through music most of the time, so headphones on. If you see me jiggling around, I'm not listening to music that no one can hear. It's just that I can't have it on here because of copyright laws and things like that. So back in the old days, I used to have the music going, but not anymore, because I don't want to get kicked off the platform or have my videos muted and things like that. So yeah. All right, so when I was shuffling and pulling out some cards for you guys, group 2, I had only intended to get 1 from this particular deck, but 3 came out, and I felt like it was the right message for you guys. So I've ancestors, generations, and rainbow, blessings, and then karma as well. And I find the sort of, it's very similar imagery on these 2 cards, and they remind me very much of the Australian Aboriginal type of artwork that they do, the dot work. I feel like this is something very ancient sort of coming through for you. What I'm feeling greatly is that although often we think about like generational curses and things like that, I feel like that you might be receiving some generational blessings as well. Um, Let me just feel into this a little bit further for you. So I'm really drawn to the rainbow, the blessings card. I think I keep just sort of seeing messages around about, you know, counting your blessings. That came up in the Sunday signs reel that I did. So I do like a little reel where I've got, you know, a couple of images, 3 images, 4 images, and you can choose one and it will, you know, have a message for you. So that sort of came up with that as well. I'm going to have a look and just see what does the rainbow card say, and then we're going to go deeper into the ancestors and ancestors and karma um cards as well, and the messages that are coming with those. So where are we? Rainbow. Be great if I could remember where things are in the alphabet. Sometimes I can't, and I don't know why. It's like I don't know, my brain's just not plugged into that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter to me. I am too much sort of um out of this world to be in this world to remember things, I think, a lot of the time. uh, some people would say ADHD. I'd say attention dialed into higher dimensions. um where are we? All right, where are we? River, getting close. It's funny, I was watching old episodes of Ghost Adventures, and they went to the Viper Room and apparently connected with River Phoenix's ghost or spirit. Um, and that just came in here. So I don't know why that sort of spiked a moment for me. Movement. All right. Maybe that's for something as well for you guys, a message or however you want to see it. So let's have a look. What does it say here? It's saying the storm has passed and it's time to enjoy the fresh, the refreshing beauty of this cycle, even though it has been difficult to appreciate any sense of purposefulness in what you have endured lately. You can now, as they say, count your blessings. Don't just look at the brighter side, adhering to some academic mantra that has no heart or depth, but do slowly and with genuine gratitude that is expressed up close and personal. Hang on, did I miss a word? Don't just look at the brighter side, adhering to some. I don't know. I figure that they're trying to say is like, don't just focus on the positive. It's another message that could have come through, and in my readings a lot is about like not light washing. If you don't know what light washing is, it's like being overly positive because you think that's spiritual and not having any other emotions and not thinking that anything else is like acceptable or anything like that. Um, but being genuinely grateful for all the things, you know, like sometimes the hardest times you come out of them, and once you've recovered and integrated, you're like grateful for the experience because you really learned something about yourself, or it triggered some really deep growth that allowed you to step into a completely different version of yourself. And I feel like this is sort of something that's coming through here as well. It's like with the DNA and the karma card, that really talks deeply about, you know, things from the past. They might be things from the past in your family. They might be things in your DNA, in your cells, genetics, things like that, that, you know, you might have found challenging. Um, but when you kind of get to a certain point of understanding or going deeply within yourself to understand these things, you find that there are actually blessings in there. Let's just have a closer look here as well. So this ever evolving process of life itself is a blessing, an opportunity to exist as a human on Earth. The planet is a beautiful garden, even if it does not appear to be so. Sometimes it's only when you look back at a memory of an experience that you can truly see the blessings and have come home from them. Oh, that have come from them. I might need my glasses that have come home from them. So yeah, they're basically saying what I just said. It's like sometimes things don't seem like a blessing at the time. Sometimes they feel really intense and hard to endure, but often they're the things in life that give you the most growth. And when you grow, you do actually realize that there was blessings in those experiences. Um, Sometimes it is only when you look back at a memory or an experience that you can truly see the blessings that have come from them. Bless your difficult and painful experiences and let them go. That's another thing that I keep getting cards about letting things go. So and forgiveness as well. So there's a few messages sort of coming through here that's from the greater collective. Um, I'm going to get a few cards just to sort of clarify this, because basically what I'm seeing is there's things, how do I put it? Yeah, I'm just going to get some cards and kind of get into these messages. Ancestors, I could speak if I could speak properly. That would be fan-fucking-tastic. Ancestors is what I was trying to say, and generations. So what have we got going on here? Okay, so as I'm shuffling, my guides are talking about the strength that comes from your ancestors that might be in your DNA, this is just, I don't know what exactly they're saying. I'm just getting strength from your past, strength from your generational stuff. um, let's see what else comes out. Sometimes the cards actually help me articulate what I'm getting better than just trying to tune in. Yeah, so what messages do the ancestors have for group 2? Okay, so the guides are saying that that you need, or not need to, but remember that you have the strength and the backup, the support of your ancestors. Those who have passed, those who are still alive, they're here to support you, particularly the ones that are past. They're all there in spirit, so they no longer have the ego, what's it called? The restrictions of ego, right? To that they may have had when they were living, and they just want to support you and help you in your growth and in your mission and your purpose in this lifetime, that you came to sort of have this life on earth. So let's just see what messages we get coming through with the tarot here. Can you clarify, ancestors, what message have you got for group 2 about their ancestors? You'll notice my nose is a bit stuffy. I've been a bit sick for a few days. So if you watched group 1 as well, you can see I had my hood on yesterday and it was quite yeah, okay. So anyway, we have the Hanged Man in reverse. This is giving me this energy of like it's topsy-turvy. Maybe things feel a bit topsy-turvy. Your ancestors are wanting to give you the message that they support you in whatever it is that you're going through, as you were speaking about in the blessings card as well. It's like I feel like there's you kind of, I wouldn't say having on hard times, but I feel like things might be quite tumultuous for you right now, or that there are things sort of coming up for you that you are weren't expecting to have to deal with, perhaps. And they just want you to know that no matter what it is, there's still that support there for you. I also feel like with it coming, the Hanged Man in reverse, that is, to clarify this, it's talking about like you're moving the whole generational stuff forward. I know that's a very technical term, but
when we think about like how a lot of people are much more aware now of, say, generational healing, um, when you have a message like the hangman in reverse coming through as well, they're saying like this is moving everyone from this, it's changing things for everyone. It's moving people forward, no matter, even if it feels sort of like it feels difficult and it feels like you're kind of just slogging through sludge or whatever it feels like for you right now. Um, this is actually, it's an important part of your path. It's an important part of changing things, not only for yourself but for generations to come, and also for clearing things out of your generational path in the past. The really drawn to the caduceus, the two snakes around the pole. That is like an ancient symbol of healing and things like that. But it's also it's interesting because I'm getting like the Kundalini awakening, or the Kundalini energy is the serpent that sits at the base of your spine, right? It's this energy that climbs up your spine as you awaken and as you learn to kind of activate various energy centers in your body. So you might be going through an awakening or a reawakening, a reawakening at this time, like feeling that energy start to flow, whether it has before or not, you know, it's always a different experience. I think every awakening is a different experience. So let's get some more messages for you, the tarot. Have we got messages for group 2 with the tarot, please? This is just me checking my music. What's coming up next? Am I going to like it? Is it good to channel to? Sometimes the music, it just isn't right and I have to switch it. Sometimes it's great. All right, so let's have some more messages for group 2 from the tarot, please. Eventually they'll spit these messages out. What would you like to tell group 2 about their ancestors, the generational connections that they have? Okay. All right, so justice. This is coming as a message, I feel like, for you guys, group 2. It's sort of coming to let you know that justice will be served, like that maybe things have felt unfair. Maybe that's why the hanged man is in reverse. So it's sort of like to be able to reach enlightenment instead of having that enlightenment where in the hanged man, like you're kind of in stasis. You've had to reach enlightenment through fast moving energy, and it's been really full on, because that is really full on. It's like boom, and a lot of the time that's how you do reach enlightenment. But perhaps it sort of felt unfair for you, like you're not actually receiving anything back for the work that you're doing. And while I don't actually believe that spiritual work gives you a reward, that is just a very 3D kind of way of getting, it's conditional culture. So it's sort of like, when a parent bribes a kid to do something like get good grades or something like that, that's conditional culture. It's like, if you do what we say, we'll give you something. This spirituality isn't like that. It's like, if you do what we say, well, they don't say, right? But you can follow your intuition or you can't. We all have free will. And I don't feel like it sort of works in that way. I feel like the whole idea that you get a reward for doing the right thing is very much a way of kind of brainwashing and controlling people. Yeah, anyway, I digress. I feel like justice is going to be served, right? So whatever's been in the shadow, whatever's been unfair, or you felt like something didn't go the way that it should have or could have or would have been better if it went a particular way, or you followed your intuition and it still didn't sort of, it didn't pan out to anything. One day the words will come. And then we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So yeah, what I feel like is like, it's like almost whatever you were doing before, or whatever sort of sparks of idea or inspiration or whatever was coming up in that kind of realm. So like the things that you plan to do, the things that you were inspired to do, um, I feel like they're still there, they're dormant within you, but you haven't been able to execute them. Perhaps it's because of something that you needed to heal or are currently healing um, through this generational and DNA sort of shift that's happening for you. Um, okay, so there's also a warning here about, this is what my guides are saying, is that they're saying like a lot of people grew up with parents and caregivers or family members around them who had um habitual anger, or they're habitually just depressed or negative about things, and it's not really their fault. They learned it from whoever was their caregiver or parent or family member. They're kind of giving you a warning about not stepping back into that or becoming aware of, pardon me, here come those hiccups again. Sometimes when I channel, I get hiccups, I burp, sometimes my nose runs, all sorts of weird stuff. It's just the energy moving through me from my guides and from your guides and from source, and all of those spirit team members sending this energy through me so that I can translate it into messages for you guys. Yeah, so the message was about becoming aware of where you're sort of stopping yourself from moving forward, where you're stopping yourself from receiving justice, perhaps. Sometimes, not when I say sometimes, it's like everybody does this, everybody has this, we all have our own way of thinking about things, and sometimes the way that we think about things creates limitations rather than creates pathways for growth, etc., etc. This sort of seems to be what the message is for you guys. It's about you changing something, but it's not like you're just doing surface mindset work. It's something that you are actually healing through working with maybe your DNA, through shifting your karma and the way that perhaps that you choose to react to things, or choose to uh, choose like what direction you go, um, and also with your ancestors and generational healing as well. This is kind of what I'm getting for you guys for this next 7 days. And don't forget, when I say 7 days, like sometimes I'll say weekly, but it's actually just that these messages are um going to be there for the next 7 days, but they're timeless as well. So if you come across it after it's been posted, it's a few days, a few weeks, but it calls to you, it's still going to have the messages for you, because as I said in the beginning, like everybody's on their own timeline, their own trajectory. And sometimes the messages that are coming through for me right now might not be right for you right now, but they might be right for you down the track. So yeah, just thought I'd pop that in there. So let's get some more messages for group 2. I would like to clarify the DNA card, the karma card. What would you like to tell group 2 about that DNA and karma card? There's a lot of energy coming through. Have a look and see what else. DNA, karma. That was like quite heavy energy as well. I believe the meaning from the book about this card is not talking so much about karma as in the way that we think about it in, like pop spiritual kind of terms, as in you did something bad, something bad's going to happen to you. More along the lines of what karma traditionally means. In fact, I'm going to actually read this because I feel like it's probably going to be a bit more succinct than me kind of trying to bring it through, and that's what they're asking me to do. So they as in my guides, my spirit team. So karma, a concept in Eastern religions, is a Sanskrit word implying the greater universal laws of cause and effect, providing an implied code of ethics within the structure of the seemingly endless cycles of death, birth, and rebirth. which we experience throughout our lives. So what they're saying is it's like karma isn't the law of cause and effect right here, right now. Karma is the law of cause and effect through generations. So let's have a look and see what else it has to say. The mistaken notion about karma is that it's some kind of punishment, but far from that. In fact, in its purest form, it simply asserts our conduct of this lifetime will determine our next incarnation. So yeah, it's kind of like what I was saying, I guess, in the beginning, the message coming through is about you changing things from a very deep level, like a DNA level or a generational healing level at this time, and understanding that the things that you're going through, or the things that you're healing and working with, are things that are going to change the trajectory of not only your next incarnation, if you believe in reincarnation, but for everybody, you know, everybody that's part of your family line. Let's have a look and see what else comes up here. They asked me to read this for a reason. So, blah, blah, blah. So we not only carry our soul's karma into this lifetime, but it's also embedded in the complex coding of our DNA. It's our genetic ancestral karma. The double helix structure of the DNA contains codes that have been passed down from our parents and grandparents, as well as our ancestors. Therefore, we have some of the same genetic information that comes from the DNA of very early humans. Interesting. As I'm reading this, I'm thinking this is really interesting because I'm working on a program at the moment, which I started working on a couple of years ago, called the Perfect Body Blueprint, which actually is going in through hypnosis, working with the subconscious mind to bring about healing from or bring about the perfect way your body's meant to be. So it could be health or weight, or, you know, wanting to exercise, but also having a negative loop that pushes you out and you self-sabotage all the time. So working with things like that through kind of activating the blueprint in your DNA that brings about, because we're all born with one, right? A perfect body blueprint. But, you know, as we sort of, you know, go through life, have experiences and things happen and we have traumas and we just, you know, we live and we have things happen and things are embedded in our subconscious, we sort of lose the connection to that. So yeah, so it's interesting that this is coming up as well. So anyway, this might be something that you would like to look into, you know, using hypnosis to activate things in your DNA or deactivate things in your DNA. In this card, we see two intertwined serpents with double helixes on either side. Variations of this archetypal image exist in many cultures, both traditional and contemporary. It's a graphic representation of the most ancient ancestry we can lay claim to. Our DNA, the fundamental substances of life itself that provides substantial determination of our path, of our life path. Sorry, let me just read that again. I was getting some like clairvoyant imagery happening as I was reading it, so I kind of tuned out. I was like focusing on what I was seeing instead of reading the words, and then focusing on what I was seeing. It's funny how sometimes like the words will bring on the visions and more messages in that way. So what was I saying? I was saying it's the graphic representation of the most ancient ancestry we can lay claim to. Our DNA, the fundamental substance of life itself that provides substantial determination of our life. As I was reading that, right, because it's talking about our origins, I was getting all these pictures of like, you know, like galaxies, galaxies coming into being and expanding and stars lighting up and things like that. And it was really cool. And I was thinking, yeah, this might even go into things like star family, and the fact that I wrote something about this the other day. I channeled it while I was on the bus, believe it or not. These things come out of me in the weirdest places, right? About how we are, the bones, the elements in our bodies that make up our bones, our skin, our organs, and all of that sort of stuff. We have the same elements in us as stars do, or stars that were millions of years old do, that galaxies do, right? So when you start thinking about things like that, it kind of like really expands your vision of where you may have come from, in if you get what I mean. So I feel like, yeah, you might be kind of digging into that sort of thought as well, or that thought process, like going even deeper than deep, right? So deeper than just our humanness, but deeper into our soulness. Soulness, is that a word? I don't know, I just made it up. Okay, so aspects of your soul into your primitive physical self long before you had begun to take form. While the DNA that you inherited from your biological parents has a physical component, it also has a soul pattern that came together in the creation of you. What was I talking about? The perfect blueprint, body blueprint. So yeah, you are predisposed to follow the karmic dictates of this patterning to some extent. Yet as you evolve in your consciousness and expand the light of awareness, you can make choices that shift and modify this ancestral design. Wow, you guys are working with some really amazing stuff, right? And I guess this is why they've got, they're brought through the blessings card as well. Because sometimes these things really they feel like a storm. Yeah, they feel like a storm in your life. It could be something, like to do with a health crisis. It could be something to do with just recognizing patterns within yourself that that you can change, but not really knowing how to do it, or kind of butting heads with it in a way, and seeing how the same patterns may be played out in one of your parents or caregivers' lives, and understanding, like, maybe I can try to change this. I can do some work on myself. I can become aware of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, so that I can change things for myself and for future generations as well. Where were we in this book? This is one of those times you can feel the tug of your soul that is both ancient and karmic. Yet you also recognize the persistent and loving communication from your higher self that contradicts the more familiar solutions before you. The choice is up to you, but know that every time, sorry, I'm having trouble reading it for some reason. Know that every time, where are we? Choice is up to you, but know that every time you heed the guidance of your higher self, no matter what etheric or physical form it takes, human consciousness is elevated. In a sense, it becomes a choice between destiny and fate. That's interesting. So it's like you choosing different path, right? However that kind of lands in your life, I guess. So you're choosing a different path. Just get some, actually, I will get some angel messages. Angels or fairies? They say fairies, okay. Oops, lost half the deck. Good on me. I'm great at this. It's strange. We're talking about karma and soul patterns. And the song that's playing in my headphones right now is Circles by Incubus. It's like everything goes in circles. So it's kind of, yeah, it taps in. It always does. And it's 3:33 on the clock, just to confirm that for me. All right, we had this come up in group 1. I might just give this deck a tap, and I'll shuffle it again, because sometimes the messages need to come through every group, and the other times it's just because the same energy from last time I used the cards is still there. So I'm looking for a message for group 2, please. Anything else you would like group 2 to know? what would you like Group 2 to know about this current phase of healing that they're going through, or change that they're going through? I feel like it's more change. I feel like it's very conscious. I feel like it might be kind of difficult for you, but at the same time, it's going to bring the blessings and the justice that you deserve. So, whoa, here we go. We have inner child. So messages coming up about inner child healing, obviously. Sort of like that message about how can you mother yourself, how can you reparent your inner child to so that they feel safe, so that they are not interfering or sabotaging what you're trying to do, because often that happens. It's like your conscious mind, your adult mind wants you to do, or you want to do certain things, you've been guided to do them, but then as you try to do them, your inner child, or a part of your wounded ego will pop up and start saying, oh, because it doesn't feel safe, or it doesn't feel heard or seen, because you're doing something different, because you're not sort of like sticking to the normal trajectory or the normal habits that you do. Sometimes it can bring things up, so that you need to sort of like reparent, or talk to that part of yourself, or send love to that part of yourself. Maybe indulge in doing something fun, something you would have liked to do when you were a kid. Just sort of comfort it, so that we can move along and not have that keep happening as well. All right. Whew. Any more messages for Group 2? Okay, self-reliance. This just gives me big self-love vibes, right? It's kind of talking about becoming self-reliant in a lot of ways. And that happens, that independence and that sovereignty happens when you heal your inner child and you work with your wounded ego and the other parts of you that, might be part of like the storage of what you perceived as trauma as a child, or it is actually trauma that you've been through, or experiences that you've had that made them feel unsafe or sad, or all of those kinds of things. I'm going to go back. I was going to say, I'm going to go back and do some more tarot for you now, just to sort of have a look into what other messages they've got for you. And as I'm saying about thinking that, we get the world in reverse. So that often means that this is something that isn't finished yet. It's an unfinished project, or something that was unfinished in the past. Yeah, I feel like maybe you started down this path and then something distracted you, or you were um needing to do other stuff for a while, and then now you're coming back, or you've come back to the healing path, to the path of self-awareness and all of that stuff. Um, let's see what else. What other messages do you have for Group 2? Spirit team, guides, ancestors. Um, well, we have quite a lot of cards coming up here. So the first one we have is this. This is the 10 of Swords, if you can see. There we go. Right. It's quite a desolate card. Some of you might be feeling a bit alone in this scenario. Unfortunately, with healing, a lot of the time that's just how it feels. Unfortunately, and we can always sort of connect in with the love of source, like the unconditional love of the universe, and keep using that so you don't feel so alone. But it also talks about like ending a painful, like a ending a period or cycle of like pain or suffering, or emotional overwhelm. That coming up after we have this one is saying to me right now that, like, as I was saying, this might be something that you started, you went down that path, perhaps you had life things going on, or it was just time for you to have a rest from that. Sometimes they do that. They'll, deter you, send you off on a different path for a while so you can integrate all of the healing and all of the ascension and all of that stuff that you go through on the healing path, the journey back to wholeness. And then they bring you back in again. And it's sort of like, everything does go in circles, right? Everything goes in cycles even. So this is I feel like what they're saying here with the world, it's like it was unfinished. This time it's sort of going deeper and you're ending like a painful cycle in your life, or a cycle of feeling stuck, like as they were talking about in the karma card, right? This is what I'm getting here right now, is that like it might be a situation where you have not understood what it was that you needed to do to move forward, to create change for yourself and for your family, your future generations. But I feel like with this 10 of Swords coming up now, like it's going to end that painful cycle. Whatever's coming up for you now, you are going to get the clarity that you need to find the pieces of the puzzle that are going to change things, that are going to end this cycle of whatever it is for you, that you're healing. Perhaps injustice, not getting what not getting your fair share, or not getting what you feel like you deserved, feeling like your inspiration, or those kind of creative energies and urges coming up with the 8 of Swords in reverse. So this is like releasing. You can see in this card here, right, in the mirror, this is her image in the mirror, but she's tied up, she's stuck, there's crows all around her. It's meant to represent, oh, here we go again with the burps. It's meant to represent like anxiety and being frozen in place, like by crippling anxiety and thoughts that just won't leave you alone, being plagued by stuff. But on the other side, like the true her, the real her, not the mirror image of her, this way, and we have the card up the wrong way, like it's come up in reverse. It's kind of saying, look, you're not really there. That's not where you are. It's just stuff that's going on in your mind. It's these patterns, these loops, these limitations that you're creating for yourself, or these never-ending anxious thoughts, or whatever, whatever it is that for you, they're not really there, and you're releasing them. That's interesting. And in releasing them, we have the Sun. So good things are coming, guys. Like, hold on. I know sometimes it can be pretty deep. It can be pretty wild when you're going through the healing path. Having some support doing that is probably a good idea. But when you have the Sun coming up as like the final message, this is just amazing energy. It's sort of like you finally released all of this heavy stuff that's been holding you back, or however it's been, whatever it's been doing in your life. It's obviously been causing some sort of trouble, but I feel like it's sort of, with this Sun energy, this is like happiness, it's fulfillment, it's good times, it's being light, right? So enlightened, being in the Sun, that kind of feeling, right? So freedom, and all of those things. So that's really good way to sort of end the messages. I hope that you found some guidance or some clarity or something like that in this reading. And if you did, give me a thumbs up, or let me know in the comments if it resonated, or if it's making sense, or if and if you'd like to go deeper again, as I said earlier, let me know either by sending me a comment, sending me a DM, checking out, or booking on my website for a reading or healing, or both a reading and a healing. I have a session where we do both. So yeah, anyway, hopefully that helped you, and I hopefully will see you on the next reading as well. Thanks so much for watching, and bye. Although if you find that a lot of it resonates for you, that then, sorry, my phone just did something really weird, then maybe consider having a personal reading to go deeper. I'll leave a link in the description box underneath with the timestamps and all that stuff, and you can book through there, or you can find me on Facebook and private message me for a reading as well, or healing, or reading and healing at the same time. I'm slowly updating all of my services. I'll soon be adding things like past life regressions and other fun stuff like hypnotherapy and that kind of stuff too. So now, where was I again? Uh, we're doing group 3's reading. Well, that one just came out in group 2. We'll just give this a knock. I mean, it might be the right message. If I put it back in the deck and it comes back out again, then we'll know. But yeah, just looking for a message for you guys. You're opening. Okay, here we go. All right. So we got 2. We got lightning. So power. You can see that. Oops, let's have a look. And we have ocean, ebb and flow. You can see that without the light gleaming all over it. So that's a really nice message. I'm already seeing, like, look, there's lots of water here. So this could be something that's very emotional for you. You could be feeling very emotional right now. Or it could be that you are connected to, like the ocean or the sea. That might be a favorite place of yours. Or you may be connected to, like mermaids and selkies and those kinds of mystical beings that live in the sea as well. What else am I feeling here? I'm just shuffling because sometimes that helps me yeah, tap in a little bit better to the energy. So yeah, I read energies, so not necessarily the meanings of the cards. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what intuition tells me. I'm not really like a traditional tarot reader. I read through all different sort of things and whatever messages come through from my guides as well. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm loving the imagery of this. I'm seeing the sea. I'm seeing like ebb and flow. To me really sort of talks about honoring the seasons of your life. That sometimes, there's a period in life where things are abundant and there's, lots of things like the tide's in, and then other times the tide's out and things seem a little empty or like things aren't working. This is kind of like a message for you to understand that when the tide's out, there's like not only is there plenty of treasures to find when the tide's out that you wouldn't normally see when the tide's in and the water's too deep to be able to have a look at these things. And this is metaphorically, obviously, but also you have to remember that it's always going to come back in. That tide's always going to come back in. So it's like this ebb and flow, getting used to. It's like breath as well. You breathe in, you breathe out. Two different things, and it's part of life. It's how we live. It's how we exist, right? But I'm also seeing power, and because I'm very strongly drawn to the imagery of the sea in these two cards, seeing like, remember the power of being able to tap into the ebb and the flow. I'm going to get the book out just because I feel like it. Pardon me, I've been a bit sick, so I'm still a bit, I hope that wasn't really loud in the microphone. I've got a new microphone, so hopefully the sound is better than it was. It definitely comes out better when I record meditations and things like that. It's really clear and crisp, but I don't know how it's going to go with these readings. Where am I? Power, lightning. All right, let's look at lightning and see what it has to say. I'm kind of getting tower energy, like tarot, tower, the tarot, but also there's other messages coming through as well. And I'm really curious to see what the author and creator of these cards has written about the power card. So we see power all around us. It's in the mountains, meadows, and clouds. In fact, in every the screen on my phone just changed, and I was like, "What?" Because it just went very dark over in the corner there. So yeah. Anyway, I feel like everything in a reading is kind of, it can be a sign, it can be like a message in some way. So Yeah, interesting. We'll see how that ties in as we go. Um, where are we? In the mountains, meadows, and clouds. In fact, in every expression of nature, yet there isn't a more dramatic display of nature's power than lightning. It electrifies and splits the atmosphere such that when the heated air comes rushing together, we hear thunder, the applause of the gods. I actually love thunderstorms. I think they're amazing. I'll go out and dance in them, even though I've nearly been struck by lightning several times. I'm a bit of a maniac like that, but I just really I love the feeling, like that energy, that power that comes through with a storm. It sort of like stirs something up inside me. And I'm sure a lot of you are the same. Just seeing that raw power. How remembering how like insignificant we are and how bullshit is sometimes. It's really good to remember that. So where are we? We see these forked beams of brilliant light jump from the sky, and our instinctual vigilance is triggered in anticipation of the roar that follows. We naturally seek shelter from the storm, unless you're a maniac like me. And even then sometimes I do, but yeah, or are grateful that we are already being sheltered. The demonstration of the power of creation is yet another way to remind us that we are not in control of the natural world. When we witness nature's power with open hearts and minds, we see that it is neither destructive nor constructive. It is simple. I mean, it simply is. It is simple. It simply is. So the power available to you, the force of life itself, is neutral. It's neither inherently good or bad. It is how you utilize it that will determine whether it's ultimately harmful or life-giving and congruent with the will of spirit that pulses through you. What is required is awareness of your intention, your values, your willingness to act upon them, sorry, and under the particular circumstances of your inquiry. So with that little sentence there, it's kind of giving me this feeling that there's something that you want to know about, something that you might be pondering, questioning, asking questions to, your higher self or to yourself, or meditating upon, or something like that. Although you may see yourself as using the power for good, do not allow yourself to get caught up in the duality of good and bad in determining your decisions and actions. Through prayer and ceremony, you can tap into the spiritual force, and by paying close attention to spirit's promptings, your choice will ultimately be revealed to you. Okay, so that's very interesting. One that is beyond your typical perspective. From there, you can continue to access divine power that is the very force driving the universe. This is super interesting. I really like this message. I kind of, yeah, it's really giving me this vibe that, like, whatever it is that you're thinking about or you're trying to achieve or whatever, it's like they want you to know that maybe your perspective is like a little bit limited, and that's a human thing, and we can't see beyond the borders um of our current conscious bubble, I guess is the best way to put it, until we start, pardon me, the burps, honestly. The last reading I was burping and hiccuping as well. This is energy coming through me. In case you don't like normally watch me, that's what happens sometimes. It's like the energy of the messages coming through means I'm going to start channeling messages or receiving clairvoyant visions and things like that. So yeah, what I feel like really that stuck out to me was about how, you need, maybe your perspective isn't as big as they want it to be for you. So they're asking you to tap into the power without, without having a judgment about what it is that you're going to do with it or how you're going to use this energy. am I doing this wrong? Am I doing this right? Is this the right thing to do with this kind of energy? There's a lot of like superstitious bullshit that goes on in spiritual, spiritual communities and stuff like that, about how you shouldn't charge for spiritual work, or like things like that. That's just something that comes up. It's like this, and we use energy is available to everyone, right? And a lot of people think that if you're a light worker, if you're doing healing work, if you're doing readings like I am, if you're doing any kind of spiritual work with other people, you should just give it away. But the problem is that, we have to pay our bills just like everyone else, right? And if we're being called to do this work and no one's actually, wanting to pay or to donate or anything like that, then how the fuck are we meant to keep doing it? Like, this is just one perspective. And I feel like this is kind of like, it's a reminder to you that if you are, that perhaps you are stuck in a loop, or stuck in a bubble, or stuck in some kind of superstitious pattern or behavior or idea that wasn't even yours. It's not yours to begin with, right? It's something that you can expand out of by tapping into the power, the energy of the universe, because when you do that, it starts to expand your consciousness and expand your views, and you start to get new ideas. So you're not stuck in the dogma of, what is right and what is wrong according to someone else who's not really you. So yeah, that's a very interesting, it's sort of like, oh yeah, all right. So I feel like this might even be a bit of a, as I was going on about, spiritual workers and things like that and those beliefs. It's more about abundance. It's more about how we have that ebb and flow, right? But it's also up to us to choose how we how we use our power in both of those stages, how we use our energy in both of those stages, in the ebb and the flow. And as I was saying before, there's always going to be the in breath and the out breath, or the high tide and the low tide. And that's just a fact of life. We can't escape from it. We can't change it. That's just how it is, right? But how you use your energy, and how you use your mind, and how you listen to and allow the energy of the universe to expand your perceptions of what you can and can't do, and what you should and shouldn't do, and what is right for you, as opposed to what is right for someone else who told you couldn't do it, or something like that, is going to be really important for you, especially in this upcoming period. Like, this might be something that comes to you automatically, organically, or it might be something really that you are being guided to work on, to open up your perception a little bit more. What I was getting to was like, that whole thing where they say dream bigger, like dream bigger. Don't just hide and think, oh, I only need this much to survive, or I only need to do this little thing. This is about you expanding. So whatever it is that you're thinking about, whatever it is that you're sort of focusing on, what they're asking you to do is expand that idea. Dream bigger, right? So dream big, dream bigger, keep dreaming as big as you can. I'm now going to, I'm just wondering what deck I should get out for you guys for extra messages. Checking out all my decks over here. I'll use the fairies, because that's what I used for the last two readings as well. Now, please excuse it if I cough or whatever. I've had a bit of a cold, so I've been sniffing as I did. So excuse my sniffing, my coughing. The first card that falls out of the deck for you guys is New Opportunity. I feel like there's this new opportunity that's available for you, but it takes for you to expand your perspective or change your mind about certain things that you might be limiting yourself with. So it's interesting, very interesting. All right, what other messages do you have here? Often this card relates to things like work, career, and things like that, and that's the kind of energy that I'm getting here. It's sort of like using your spiritual energy, your spiritual knowledge, to create more for yourself resource wise in the 3D world. So, I mean, that could relate to pretty much anything. but maybe it's sort of about like you need a new job and you want to get paid what you're worth. So maybe it's they're talking about dreaming bigger as far as what you're co-creating with the universe to call in for this job. Or maybe they're talking about, let me just think, a business opportunity. Yeah, there's lots of different ways that you could see this. It could be just, like certain, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of picking up lots of different stories, and it's actually almost a little bit too much for my brain right now. So yeah, just thinking into this, feeling into this career, it could be about, um, you know, creating a business partnership or even a romantic partnership or a friendship with someone you wouldn't normally, be friends with. Um, because that also helps to expand your perspective. You get different ideas from people who aren't the same as you. If all you ever do is spend time with people who are the same as you, you're never going to get new ideas, and things aren't going to come in as easily. And sometimes it's not directly connecting with the universe that is bringing in these new ideas, these new opportunities, this energy of expansion and expanding perspectives. It's actually mixing with other people. It's actually talking to people who have different viewpoints and not just trying to argue with them, but actually hearing what they're saying and thinking about it and thinking, does that fit with me? Does it feel right with me, even though it's something I've never heard of or something I would not normally consider? That's how you kind of like expand further and bigger and learn to dream bigger as well. Oh, that was a bit of a channel. Sorry, I think I need a little drink of water. Still got the barcode on the bottom of the cup. So the next card that you guys have is this happily ever after card. This is what made me think, maybe it's about partnerships and however that works for you. It could be friendships, it could be romantic partners, it could be just expanding your, networking, expanding your social group to something, or spending time with different people, as I was just saying. It could also, but whatever it is, this new opportunity is going to lead you to this happily ever after energy. And it's sort of like happily ever after, you think of it as, the Disney fairy tale type thing with the prince and the princess, but it doesn't have to be like that. It can be however you want it to be, right? It's your happily ever after, however you want that. So it might be you living alone by the beach and being able to write books or whatever. This is your happily ever after. So you choose it, right? You choose that that story ending, your happily ever after, how you'd like to have it. And this is, I guess, what they're getting you to say: dream big, dream bigger. Keep opening up those perspectives and opening up, what's possible for you, and then new opportunities will come in for you. It's much easier for them to come in if you have the gates open. You can't drive through a closed gate, can you? All right, so going into the tarot now for you guys, we have the Two of Pentacles. So this is talking about finding a balance in your life. This could be finding, balance in between work and family time, all sorts of things, fitting everything in so that you are not exhausted as well. I feel like, okay, let me just have a look. So there's a bit of, I feel like it's going to be a bit of a balancing act for you for a bit, while you assimilate, while you get used to this new, it's not an opportunity, but it's sort of like a new way of being, I guess, is going to come in for you. So finding a balance, also finding that balance, as I was saying, between, what you believe or what you feel is right for you and what other people are saying and offering you as a way to expand your perspective on things. Sometimes people have things to say that are actually quite enlightening if you can get them past your conscious gatekeeper. If you can kind of like, what is the word that I like to use? What are the words that I like to use? if you are able to entertain a thought without, buying into it or not buying into it, it works both ways. Like, you could have a thought and think, oh, that's just anxiety, and let that go. Or you could have a thought and think, you know what, this is something that's actually helpful to me. It's going to help me move forward. I don't ask me why I said anxiety. I was like, that's so out of context. But you know what I mean? It's like, not every thought you think has to be real. It's not all real. They're just thoughts, and you can change your thoughts at any time. And the more that you practice being able to change your thoughts, or at least entertain thoughts that aren't thoughts that you would have, that are supportive, it's going to enhance your experience. It's going to open doorways to new things. So interesting, finding a balance between that. I feel like that's what they're saying here. So what other messages do you have for group 3 today? Oh, pardon me, sorry. Like I said, I'm a bit chesty at the moment. Something's going to come out eventually for you guys, group 3. Just changing the music, guys. Sorry, I was going to sing that song. Okay, it might help with the energy for the cards that are coming through too. So can we get some of messages for group 3, please? Messages for group 3, please, Spirit. What does group 3 need to know? Woo. I think that's almost too much, really. How many cards we got here? Let's have a look. Oof. Yeah, I don't know. These ones don't feel right. I think they were just a chunk that fell out because I'm a bit clumsy. I'm a bad shuffler. If you think after 20 years of doing this, I'd be able to shuffle a bit better, but I can't. So interesting. All right, so I'm gonna give them all right. Yeah, my guides are saying no, they weren't the right cards. Give them a knock and see if that helps realign the energy so that I'm getting better messages for you guys. Group 3. Just group 3. Okay. Okay, that's half the deck. No, just a few would be good. Thanks. All right. So I'm going to take this one. Oh, the Hanged Man in reverse again. That's interesting. We had that in group 2. I think we might have even had it in group 1. So this is talking about finding enlightenment through movement. It's like the Hangman in the right way, like in the upright position, talks about a stasis, like having to stay still, and that act of staying still. Wow, that's a loud car. It's making my floor vibrate. That act of staying still allows you to have this enlightenment, to have that aha moment, to have that like inspiration to find. But this is a different energy because it's upside down. It's sort of for me, it feels like things will move fast for you. We had this, as I said, in group 2, and it's about there's fast moving energy right now. Like there's portals, there's things going on in the cosmic energies, in the cosmos, basically. Solar flares, Schumann resonances, magnetosphere stuff, like all sorts of things going on, happening, creating timeline shifts and other things like that. So this is energy that is going to be moving quickly for you. So no more hanging around is what I'm kind of getting. It's like you're not hanging around. Whatever's coming to you is coming to you through movement. And it's sort of, it ties in with what I was saying before, which is like, connecting with other people, doing things that you wouldn't normally do, networking and stuff like that, so that you can actually sort of like open up your mind a little more open up to different ideas and different ways of doing things. More messages for group 3, please. Okay, what have we got here? We have 2 cards that have come out for you guys. So finding stability as well. So something stable is coming in for you. As I said, for some of you, this is kind of talking about a partnership. It may or may not be romantic. It might be like friendship, it might be business partnership, it might be connecting with people who can help you grow your network, can help you connect with other people who can, you know, bring these new opportunities in. The next message we have is the 8 of Cups in reverse. That's an interesting one too. It's also this kind of, it's like an energy. In the upright, we would say this is like the energy of walking away from something that no longer serves you, right? But I feel like in this way, with it in this way, with it in reverse, in this particular reading, and also with the Hanged Man in reverse as well, got some really good supportive energy coming through. And this is about maybe not, I feel like this message from the 8 of Cups in reverse is about maybe not making such harsh judgments or making such quick judgments. Okay, it froze for a minute and I don't know if that came up, but anyway, like not making such harsh judgments, as I was saying, you know, like holding back judgment before you've really had a chance to assess whether that is something that will really work for you, or giving something a try as well. This is something I've really I like to talk about a lot, because a lot of the time it's just a habit that we say no to things, or we're like you know, someone will say, why don't you do such and such, and we like just no straight out. And that is just, it's a habitual thing that stops you from, you know, it limits you a lot of the time. Obviously there's times you want to say no to things, but I feel like this for you, this is like you not just shutting everything down straight away, but giving it a go to see if it actually fits for you before you know, throw it in the shit. What is it? Throw it in the fuck it bucket. Throw it in the fuck it bucket. Yeah, so interesting energies here. It's like you opening up to things before making a decision, but it's also this energy of feeling stable. I think it's energy of, or bringing, okay, all right, so giving things a go, then there's new opportunities open up to bring you stability, however that works for you. This is a little bit of a balancing act though, obviously. What else does group 3 need to know? Group 3. Okay, group 3, what are we doing here? We'll get a message eventually, guys. Sorry. Group 3. Can I get a couple more messages for group 3? All right, here we go. Something come up now. Finally got that. All right, so okay, so we have the 7 of Swords, which is trying to get away with something. Okay, so maybe it's sort of like, I feel like, yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't know how this fits. I'm just going to have a look at these other ones. Okay, the 6 of Swords is moving away from trouble, like leaving trouble behind. So perhaps, yeah, okay, so now they've come out both together. That sort of makes a bit more sense, right? So you're leaving behind this, I don't know whether it's leaving behind a person or a situation where it's sort of like there was a sneaking around, or just didn't, you know, you never felt you never felt like you could trust them or the situation because there was always something underhanded. There was like this underhanded energy, but I feel like you're moving away from that now. Or it's even just like you undermining your own authority or trying to when I say that, what I mean is like your higher self could have been giving you messages this whole time, but you would hear them and just like not listen or maybe say, "Oh yeah, okay, that's interesting," and but it's bullshit, or something like that. So it's easy to like kind of block out the intuitive messages that we get because we're trained to from the minute we're born. We don't listen to our intuition. We don't do things when it feels right for us. We have to do it by the clock. We have to do it when mum says. We have to do it when the school says. That kind of thing. So we're all very disconnected from being able to follow our intuitions properly. And I feel like, yeah, for a lot of you, it's going to be that. It's going to be like you're moving away from that. You're realizing that you can actually trust in that power, in that energy, in that those intuitive hits that come through because they are actually there to expand you into something new and something different instead of you just writing it off. So you're moving away from that kind of energy because to be able to come into the stable energy of trust, of moving along to, to this stable energy, to this happily ever after, to being open to new opportunities, that's what you need to do. And then we have the King of Wands. You see, oh, King of Pentacles, sorry, King of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles, this is kind of, I feel like this is part of your happily ever after. I feel like this is right. My headphones are about to run out. I don't know why I keep charging them up and they just keep dying. So yeah, so this is part of your happily ever after. As I said, it's like I feel like this is for a lot of you, it's kind of like it's finding the right job, it's finding the right opportunity for you in a um in a very three-dimensional sense, so earthly sense, worldly sense. So whether it's like finding the right job, finding the right position, finding a way to make your particular business or something that you want to do work for you so that you don't have to work for other people, or it could also tap into relationships, could tap into finding the King of Pentacles. So someone who's got that knowledge and they've got resources and things like that, and that's part of your happily ever after as well. But I feel like for most of you, it's you actually stepping into your King of Pentacles energy, and it doesn't matter, if you're female or male. When they say king or queen or whatever in tarot, it's not gender specific, it's an energy, right? So a king is someone who's kind of in charge, right? So they're in charge of their 3D experience. They have the knowledge and the understanding of how to, create resources, to have resources, to understand, to work with that ebb and flow energy as well. So ebbing and flowing so that they don't go without through the ebb, right? So it's sort of like, that it's I'm trying to think of the other way that they put that, feast or famine. So when you're in the King of Pentacles energy, or the King of Pentacles energy is where there is no there is no famine, right? Because this person is already, or this energy, or this understanding that you've come to, it already has enough resources and has planned for the ebb, so they know that it's coming. And then that it's sort of like preparing for winter or something like that as well. Yeah, so that will be your happily ever after. Plenty of resources, whatever that means for you, finding the right position or the right relationship or the right partnership or the right, all of the whatever it is that's aligned for you in your soul path. I'm gonna end this reading right here because I think this is a pretty good message for you guys. As I said, if there's something that you would like to go deeper into, if you'd like a personal reading, there will be a link in the description box that you can hit, and yeah, hopefully that gave you some good messages, you got some guidance or some clarity or an idea of what might be coming up and you enjoyed it, make sure you give me a thumbs up if you did, or leave me a comment if there's something that you wanted to comment on. Preferably a nice comment would be good. Yeah, so anyway, have a good one. Hope to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching and bye.